Welcome. Today we're getting hands-on with the North52 decision suite and bringing you 5 top tips for being more productive with decision tables. My colleague Patrick is going to help us with the rundown.
That's right, Bruce. Let's get started with number 1. Bob, what's your first tip?
I'm a big fan of taking the time to make my decision tables as clear and as easy to read as possible. This helps with understanding, especially if someone did not build the original logic, and makes it easier to spot mistakes in the logic.
Okay, what can be done to help with this?
There are a couple of features I like. The first being the comments column. You can put these anywhere in your decision table to provide context to the rules. It might be a reference to a requirement like a user story in Azure DevOps, a definition for a calculation, or a note to highlight a change or exception to the regular logic. The second is the toggle word wrap option on a cell. This is really useful for comments, but the best use is when you have conditions that could match one or more values in a choice column. Let's look at this example of where we need to match on the vessel type and we want to add additional types to match on. You can put them in the condition column, one after the other like this, and the list of matching conditions expands beyond the column width. Or we can do a little formatting by adding a line break between the options. Once the editor is closed again and the cell selected, we toggle the word wrap on the cell by right-clicking and selecting cells, then toggle word wrap. Next, we expand the line height to show all values. I think you'll agree it's much easier to read with the word wrap enabled.
Yes, it's definitely a lot clearer and easier to read. Let's talk about your second tip.
I like to be able to work on the keyboard, so eliminating a few mouse clicks makes me feel more productive. Fortunately, there are a couple of keyboard shortcuts you should know about with North52.
Okay.
The first being the function key, F2. Just like Excel, it allows you to go into cell edit mode, so you can move about with your arrow keys, and then F2 to jump into edit mode. Make your edits and then press enter to commit the change. The second shortcut is F4. This toggles advanced mode so you can access row 3 quickly and easily. A game changer when working with more complex formulas. Of course, you can use the right-click context menu for this too, but it's not as quick.
Great stuff. Another top tip with 2 tips. I feel like we're making, progress and great value here. Move on to number 3.
Another productivity booster. This time, navigating complex formula with many sheets and lots of variables.
That sounds interesting. Can you show me an example?
Sure, let's have a look at this formula for calculating shipping charges in Dublin Harbour. We have 11 decision table sheets with lots of complex pricing rules and inline calculations. You can obviously click through the sheets, as I'm doing here, but there are some that we have hidden from view. If we go to the Source tab and expand the Decision Table Calculations node, we can easily see all the decision sheets listed here. What users may not know is that you can click on the sheet name and it will take you directly to that sheet.
That's very handy, all right.
But wait, there's one more trick here. If you hold down Control while clicking on an inline calculation, these are shown when you expand the decision table node like this. There's one here for good tariffs. You will be taken directly to the part of the sheet where this inline calculation is defined. If we expand tonnage rates and Control click on the price per ton, again, we are taken directly to the inline calculation.
Excellent stuff, Bruce. I think we're ready for number 4.
This is one of my favorites and allows you to easily experiment when building rules or eliminate factors when trying to find a problem. I'm talking about the 3 exclude options available for when you want to disable processing of columns, rows, or even an entire decision table. For example, if I wanted to exclude column D, a conditional check on the product name, I simply select the column or a cell in the column and right-click to reveal the context menu. Then I select operations, then toggle exclude columns. You will notice the value in cell D1 has now changed to exclude condition and displayed in italics. If I save this formula and trigger its execution, column D will be ignored in the rules processing. To reverse it, simply select toggle exclude columns option again.
I can see how that would be very useful. You mentioned excluding rows and decision tables too?
Yes, in a very similar way, we can exclude the processing of selected rows. Let's say we do not want to process the bulk liquid or bulk solid vessels. I can select these cells and right-click to show the context menu and then select operations, then toggle exclude rows. Rows are highlighted in pink and in italics when they have been excluded. After the formula is saved, these rows will be ignored for processing. The final option is to exclude an entire decision table. For this, you can right-click anywhere and select Operations, then toggle Decision Table. The sheet is renamed with the word exclude appended. Excluding a decision table can be very useful when you want to experiment with some changes before committing them. Firstly, you would duplicate the decision table, and then you would exclude the original. You can then experiment with changes in the copied decision table. If you need to revert, simply delete the copy and re-enable the original.
Some great examples there, Bruce. Shall we wrap things up at number 5?
Sure, my last tip is for being more productive and to use the search and replace function. This can be very handy for finding something buried in a large multi-sheet formula or to simply correct a spelling mistake. Let's use our ports pricing example. I want to find where the pricing is defined for assisting a vessel. I can simply type assisting into the find field and click the Find Next button. I'm then taken directly to a matching cell on a decision table sheet and can make any necessary changes there. As an example, for the replace functionality, I've spotted a place where I've spelt the word charges incorrectly. I can enter the misspelled word and the correction and then click Replace Next. This will find the first match and highlight the cell, allowing me to check the contents. If I want to replace it, I click Replace Next to make another change. If there is another match, it will be found and I can click Replace Next to make the change.
Thanks, Bruce. 5 great productivity tips covered. This should really help users of North52 work more effectively with decision tables. Where can users go for more information and help?
The first port of call should be our support portal at support.north52.com. There's a ton of great information there, but any questions should be emailed to support@north52.com and one of our team will respond very quickly.
Okay, that's it for today's session. Thank you for joining us and don't forget to subscribe. Stay updated. See you next time.